Warzone is a battle royale game mode for what is probably the most popular FPS franchise to date. It's been out a while, since 2020, and it's overall been a great extension of the Call of Duty game modes, especially in keeping up with the other modern FPS games. Since its release, they haven't been afraid to split their modes and test what the audience prefers. Solos, duos, trios and quads for example, entirely different modes like Resurgence and Plunder, and continued to expand Warzone with each additional version of COD that's come out since. It plays with a very quick time to kill, much like normal COD, but with the addition of armor plates which pad out your health a little bit. At this point, due to the integration of each new COD title, there are a wide mixture of weapons from different time frames all within the same mode. Gunfights are generally quite aggressive, pushing the other team is a more common strategy, making it quite a fast-paced shooter in general. You'll collect perks, contracts that can earn you money, buy kill streak rewards, and even loot your own fully customized loadout with skins to boot. There are a few interesting opportunities to stay invested in the game even when you've been taken out, with a 1v1 at the Gulag for a second chance back in, as well as the option to pay for your teammates' return if you can collect enough cash. If you enjoy this video, please feel free to like, comment or even subscribe. Growing the channel will allow us to put more effort into videos, and we have plenty of ideas for you guys that we'd love to have the time to make.
Call of Duty has had a pretty wild ride of ups and downs over its life, with the highs of Modern Warfare 2 and the early Black Ops games to the lows of the later Black Ops games, and everything in between. Unfortunately, during the rise of video game monetization, COD fell deeper and deeper into the irritating pit of assaulting your monitor with ways to get you to spend more money, something which unfortunately has bled over a little into Warzone. Nex and I have jumped into Warzone intermittently over the years, and every time we have, the whole experience has been a bit hit and miss, and that has not changed recently. While the weapon customization and the range of weapons is fantastic, and creating your perfect loadout is a lot of fun as you learn what works for you and start to tweak your attachments and weapon combos. But there are also so many weapons that are locked, and require an insane grind to get them from Warzone alone, incentivizing you to buy their other games so that you get the most out of this one. Then there's the gunplay, which in 2022 just doesn't really feel that great to us. For a game that's built on the back of almost 2 decades of FPS titles, it really isn't very impressive. You can see how they've tried to assimilate different features from other games like the slide and the balloons that help you travel across the map, but the whole experience is just a little too janky for us for a AAA title. Especially when you compare it to games like Apex and Fortnite, which admittedly have their own issues, but they feel like more polished and smooth experiences outside the odd bug here and there. There's also the question of time to kill. Warzone combines a short time to kill with massive magazine sizes, whereas Apex has a long time to kill and comparatively small magazine sizes. There's no real right or wrong here, but it means that in Apex, if you get into a gunfight, you're far more likely to win that gunfight if you're a higher skilled player, compared to the style of play in Warzone where if you see the enemy first and start shooting them, you'll likely win. Not all the time, and there's positioning and skill to consider, but it's way more likely in Warzone than in Apex. For us, this made Warzone a bit more frustrating, especially the one-shot kill potential of snipers, which seems to encourage camping. Next, we've got the movement mechanics. COD has seen some pretty drastic changes over the years, and now we have parachutes, crouch slides, and speed boosts, all of which adds some nice variation to the otherwise standard movement system. In general, it's okay, but there's still the underlying feeling of jankiness in the whole thing, and this extends to the game's movement. Although a nice thing that Warzone has that not all games do have is the ability to lie down, so you'll be free to get those drop shots in. Graphically it's not the best, but it is by no means bad, although I personally found the graphics settings a bit of a pain in the butt to try to get the game looking decent. Similarly, the audio is pretty middle of the road. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. Overall, Warzone lies somewhere in the middle of the pack in a market that has a lot of BR development. If you want my advice, Apex is a much more polished and enjoyable experience. The gunplay is better, the movement is head and shoulders above Warzone, and to me it looks nicer. However, they both are free to play, so if you want to give Warzone a go, you've only really got time and hard drive space to lose.
It's hard for us to recommend Warzone completely on its own merit, when in our opinion there are just better BRs out there. For such a distinguished franchise, it's still a surprise to us how low quality the experience feels. Being in the menus is jarring. You can't be in any particular menu without being taken out whenever the party leader selects an option. If you don't buy the latest COD, you'll notice the weapons are locked out of the game, at least initially. Not all bad because you can select each one to find out what challenge you need to complete to unlock it. For some, especially if you don't have the opportunity to spend much money, this might be seen as a great deal. For others, this is countless hours playing the game in a way you wouldn't choose to if you had the option. all the while not having the full range of arsenal that people you're competing with might have. For any PvP game, I feel like the most consumer-friendly approach is one of a more cosmetic nature only. The gunplay can feel fantastic when you're dialed in, hit markers are satisfying, and movement around the map is rather unrestricted, which feels great. To us, it just really lacks the overall polish that you have to expect from a Call of Duty BR. Despite the fact that we come back to Warzone every time there are changes, we really find it less enjoyable than the alternatives. I mean, a Call of Duty paired with a BR has always sounded like the perfect combination, and we wished it was. But as far as this implementation, for us at least, it's just not turned out that way.